Getting fresh data and accurate data is becoming a must for any agentic workflow or anything that we're actually doing these days. Very often the LLMs or the agentic tools don't provide fresh enough data, especially just using the web fetch tools. And this is why it's very important to actually build your own scrapers and incorporate different scraping capabilities into your agentic workflows. Now, for a lot of stuff, I very often use Playwright, which uses my logged in sessions and just extracts data. But if you want to do this at scale, what I used to do is I used to use the Bright Data MCP. And for those of you who don't know, Bright Data is a web scraping company or data extraction company that handles the infrastructure of the scraping. They take care of proxy rotation, CAPTCHA solving, etc. Now, the cool thing that I wanted to discuss with you guys today in this video is a new capability that they just shipped, which is called Scraper Studio. Let me move to present mode, spotlight, yes. So basically, as you know, web scraping sounds simple until you actually want to productionize it. So as I said, I can use Playwright for simple stuff, but if I want to use something at production and at scale, for example, scraping competitors' prices or scraping many images or anything that really requires entering a lot of web pages very fast, concurrently, etc. It's not so easy. Pages change, selectors break, JavaScript needs rendering. You have many of websites have Cloudflare and different CAPTCHA challenges. Your proxies, if you're using proxies, they often fail, and this is a complete headache, to be honest. Now, Bright Data used to already solve this just using the MCP and the CLI, but what they just recently shipped is very important and very interesting, and this is what I wanted to discuss today. It's basically a chat interface that allows you to mention or elaborate regarding what you want to build in terms of the scraper, and then it's going to ask you a few clarifying questions, and afterwards it's going to build the scraper for you. And obviously afterwards you're going to be able to run the scraper using many different options, and I will cover this in a moment. Let me show you an example already. It would be easier. Let me make sure that I'm not skipping anything. Yeah, so obviously it handles all the tough and shitty stuff that I mentioned, you know, the CAPTCHA, the retries, the scheduling, the monitoring, and the delivery. So this is very, very comfortable and convenient. Let me show you an example of a scraper that I built using Smithery, scraping Smithery. Now, for those of you who don't know, Smithery is like an aggregator or a directory of many different MCPs. So this is an example of Context 7, which is a very important MCP, and they have a ton of MCPs over here. And if I want to scrape them, and I do want to scrape them, and just to be updated and see what is trending, I decided to ask the Bright Data Studio to build this. So before I show you the whole process, let me show you the result. So this is the result, Smithery AI. I have a ready to run scraper, which I can either initiate manually over here just by providing the URL, or I can use like a cron job, a schedule. I can say whenever I want this scraping to run automatically on schedule based on different intervals, every minute, every day, every month. And this is via the UI. Obviously, you can also do this via API with your own Python code or any code that you'd like. Over here, you have the amount of runs and you have the results. Let me show you the results. Let's open them up. This is a result in a JSON format. So we have all the MCPs that were scraped by this scraper. And Obviously, you can export as JSON, as CSV, or Excel, or different formats. Now, let me show you the process because the process is very simple and cool. You come here. You can come to the Scraping Studio landing page, which basically over here they elaborate regarding the capabilities. I find it important to mention that they do provide 5K page loads for free as a free tier, and afterwards you move to a pay-as-you-go pricing scheme, which isn't expensive, like $1.5 for 1,000 page loads. Over here they have a few like questions, FAQ, which is, let's cover them briefly. So it's very easy to create the scraper. I will show you in a moment. You don't need your own servers or proxies. You don't need to wait, because once you give the chat interface what you would like, the Scraping Studio what you would like, and you answer a few clarifying questions, it's going to build this the scraper and update you via email. You don't need any coding background, and as I showed you, you can run this on a different schedule, get the data in different formats. So this is very valuable. Now let's go into the studio, Scraping Studio. Let's assume that I want to scrape this website of FIFA. These days it's the World Cup. So I just specify it over here. Click the start button. What it's going to do now, as you can see, it's like a chat interface, looks a lot like any other chat interface, Anthropic or OpenAI's. So it's analyzing the URL structure, and in a moment it's going to ask me regarding the output schema and the input schema. Basically, it's going to ask me what would I like to collect and what information would I like to provide in order to guide the scraper. After I provide all of this, it's just going to build the scraper. It builds it pretty fast, and then you have the scraper ready to go, as I showed you over here. Over here you also have like a code aspect, but there's no need for this. You can obviously save this or download this and just use your cloud code or open code to adjust it. Let's go back here. It's finding an example of a theme page. In a moment it will show us the schema. We will approve it, and then another output schema, and then it will just go about and build this. Let me see if I covered everything that we wanted to discuss. Yeah, over here they have all the features, which is basically, it can be also managed via the cloud, or you can also take control on this and make adjustments. We discussed the pricing. We discussed the fact that the scraper, the studio builds the scraper for you. Okay, now let's see what it is asking us. I found your FIFA World Cup teams page. I can help you create a crawler for this. Quick question: do you want to extract data for individual team pages or extract data only from the team's listing page? I want to extract data from individual team pages. So I gave it the answer. Now it is thinking. And this is amazing because back in the days when you wanted to build a reliable scraper, I'm not even talking about the infrastructure, solving the proxy rotation and the CAPTCHA, but you had to hire someone that knows how to do the data extraction via Upwork or via Fiverr. And this is so useful because you can use this for many different use cases. So for example, we can run in the background Google My Business, stuff like this, although it's not really necessary because Bright Data do offer a lot of scrapers out of the box in the library. So for example, let's say you want to scrape Instagram, we can come here and we have different Instagram scrapers. Let's say you want to scrape LinkedIn, we have different LinkedIn scrapers. Let's say you want to scrape Reddit, So a lot of this is already ready out of the box, so you don't need to build your own scraper. So before you start, I highly recommend that you check out the scrapers library before. Let's see, TikTok, I believe they also have, yes. Now in each page, each platform that you enter, you have all the different endpoints that that platform provides. So for example, when it comes to TikTok scraping, you have an endpoint for collecting profiles, for collecting posts, for collecting comments, etc., etc. Now let's go back here. Okay, so review your data schema. This is the structure of data your scraper will collect. So basically you have over here what you would like to collect. Let's say you can decline or you can approve. For the sake of the demo, let's approve this. Although I didn't really plan on showing this specific page over here, so I didn't validate to make sure that it doesn't have any hiccups during the live demo. But what it is doing now, it is creating the input schema. Then I will approve the input schema and it's going to build the scraper. It takes approximately 5 minutes or so, and you have a scraper ready to go, which you can use whenever you would like, which is pretty amazing in my opinion. I'm thinking if there's anything else that I would like to mention. Nothing really comes to mind. For those of you who have been following me, you know that I'm a big fan of Bright Data anyways, and a lot of this stuff can be done via the CLI. I mean, using an agent and doing calls to CLI or using the Bright Data MCP. But this is for a different use case, and it's especially useful for those of you who don't use coding agents or need like very reliable and predictable API endpoints and don't want to pay someone to build a scraper for you. So this is amazing. So far, I haven't encountered any significant issues with the product, although it is pretty new. So this is very exciting and I highly recommend that you check it out. If you have any questions or feedback, leave them in the comment section below. Until next time, keep on automating.